The body beneath the lake. I was part of a recovery dive at a local lake, called in by the police to help search for a missing boy. He'd fallen into the water during a drunken party on a boat. Without wearing a life vest, the lake was incredibly deep, so we had to use mixed gas to avoid nitrogen narcosis and barotrauma. I followed every safety procedure as usual, stayed in constant contact with my dive partner, and monitored my dive computer closely. Getting to the lake bed didn't take long, but coming back up always does. It's the most exhausting part. My colleague and I split up to search different areas due to the extremely low visibility. It wasn't even 5 minutes before I saw it, a human figure standing upright on the lake floor. I swam closer and realized the boy's body was fully intact. There were no signs of decay. It looked like he had just gone under minutes ago. His legs were half buried in the silt. It was surreal, almost like he was simply standing there, still alive. I tied the retrieval rope around his body and began my ascent, following standard procedure to signal the surface team for extraction. As I reached my first decompression stop, I noticed something strange. The rope was still being pulled, as if something below was yanking it with intense force. I had stopped moving, but the line continued unraveling, spinning rapidly like it was caught in a current. But there was no current strong enough for this. Within seconds, I realized if I didn't act, I'd be dragged down with it. Fast. There were nearly 300 meters of rope in that coil, and the tension building on it was insane. My instincts kicked in. I grabbed the rope to try and stop it, and immediately the friction tore open the skin on my hand, nearly down to the bone. Looking back, that was a stupid move, but survival instincts don't ask for permission. I held on and tried to cut the line with my knife. With trembling hands, I managed to slice the rope just below the reel, and in an instant, it snapped away into the darkness, yanked by something far more powerful than anything I've ever encountered. In that split-second moment, I felt it. If I hadn't cut the rope, the force would have likely snapped my spine or drowned me instantly. I was shaking, worse than I had been when I first saw the body, but I forced myself to keep ascending, slowly, making my decompression stops despite the pain, the fear, and the blood trickling from my hand. Everyone said I'd hallucinated nitrogen narcosis. They told me it was all in my head. Divers sometimes see wild things when they're deep underwater. Fish with human faces, massive cephalopods, voices in the bubbles. Some even claim to have stared into eyes that weren't supposed to exist. And I get it. Deep water is a fragile place for the mind. But there's one thing I can't explain away. The wound on my hand. The cut wasn't from my knife. I didn't touch anything sharp. The doctor even noted signs of severe friction burns around the gash, like something had pulled the rope through my hand at violent speed. So if it was just an illusion, what the hell left a real wound on my skin? And if it wasn't an illusion, then what the hell was down there, strong enough to pull with that kind of force? What really keeps me up at night is the last thing I saw before cutting the rope. The body's still lying on the lake floor, but the rope kept going down. That means either the boy somehow pulled me back from the dead, or something else grabbed the line, something with the strength and speed of a predator. And honestly, I'm not sure which version is worse.